West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, we're back. It's a live Monday night mashup. It's been a while, approximately 2 weeks since I last did one of these shows, and I am sporting the brand new, see, I've even got the label on it. I haven't even taken the label off. I'm sporting the brand new Caribbean Cricket Podcast maroon beanie. West Indies don't even do merch as good as the merch that Caribbean Cricket Podcast do. The new maroon beanie. Look at it, I'm feeling warm, people. I'm feeling warm and comfy right now in my CCP beanie hat. Very warm, very comfy. If you want yours, people, if you're a patron of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, you can get that for £18. No extras for the posting and packaging. Might be like 15p extra. I don't know. Depends where you are. Depends where you are in the UK. But basically, if you're a patron, £18 should sort it out. If you're not a patron, you're looking at 22 for that. Obviously, if you're overseas, it depends where I'm shipping it to overseas. I only got 25 of these done, people. And I haven't. This one's mine, so I'm taking this one. Every time I do a merch range, I take one of them for myself. These are limited edition. 5 have been sold already. I've given one to a mate. Santoki's not even taken one yet. I've taken one. So there's only like 17 left. Only 17 left. One day I'll do CCP merch properly and actually just buy loads of stuff in bulk. We don't make enough money to do all of that stuff. I'm very much a person where once I choose to get something done, we pay for it, wait for it to sell out, then we put in the next merch run. So yeah, if you want one, people, DM me, send me an email, whatever it might be. I'll get those out. Sometimes people say to me, yeah, but how do we do it? It's a trust process. I've never, ever stitched anybody up over merch. All you have to do is send me the P's, and then I'll just send you like the details saying, right, this is the tracking code that you need. It's been sent out, etc. I'm a man of my word. If you don't have your word, what else do you have? So anyways, Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Monday night mashup, last one of 2024. And what a ride it has been. Tomorrow, Santoki and I will be doing the live Caribbean Cricket Podcast Awards. So look out for that. Make sure you put some time aside ahead of the New Year's celebrations. We've got a live show, the Caribbean Cricket Podcast 2024 award show. So we'll be doing that live tomorrow. I think we're going to do it. I think we're doing it 7 o'clock UK time, which would mean like 3 o'clock Eastern Caribbean and 2 p.m. Jamaican time. That's the time we're thinking we're going to do it. So look out for any kind of tweets and stuff about that. We're also launching on let me check my dates. People. On the 2nd of January in 2025, we're launching a brand new show of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. It's time to up the levels on CCP. So we're launching a brand new show. The new show is called Caribbean Cricket Podcast. It's called the Caribbean Cricket Podcast Challenge. And what's going to happen basically is every week, to anybody who's a fan, supporter of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast is allowed to come on. You just have to let me know that you're interested, and I will give a challenge. It's a draft competition basically. So for example, the draft might be the best West Indian test side based on players available in the last 10 years, basically the down bad era. And it's any 2 people can come on and they have to verse me. Everyone, so it's 3 people basically in the game. You get a draft pick, do a coin toss, whatever it might be, and see who comes up with the best team. So we're going to do that. We're definitely launching that in 2025. I'm keen to probably launch some new, some new spin-offs for CCP in 2025. Can't keep relying on me and Santoki to just do everything. We ain't got the time. We ain't got the patience to just keep doing all of this stuff. Certainly not every day anyway. So more what is it? Bart is a serious fan, says, hi, Mash. Can I post some suggestions for future shows? Yeah, go for it. Any ideas that you've got? That we can talk about that. Yeah, I'm open to listening. Ingenious says, unrelated to cricket, but Trinidad and Tobago has been placed under a state of emergency. Yes, I saw that earlier today. So all the TNT folk, maybe they're not even online today. State of emergency declared in TNT. I don't know the full details of that. If there's any TNT people in the chat, update us, please. I'm presuming it's because the gunmen are running rampant and the army and the police have therefore decided to go and kill some gunmen. That if it was in Jamaica, that's what the state of emergency would relate to. It's not uncommon to me to hear the Jamaican government say something like state of emergency declared in a particular parish, and then you just send the army and the police in to go kill some gunmen. So I'm assuming, but I'll wait for some TNT natives to explain it, but I'm assuming that's what it will be. That's what it will be about, and that they're looking for a reason to go do some murderation. Remain Robinson says, hey, buddy, good afternoon. Can somebody please give me an unrealistic squad that we would like to see play Test cricket in 2025? Yeah, we can get to that. So, yeah, what are some of the things that we want to talk about in today's show? Obviously, the team fly out to Pakistan in about 3 days. So, yeah, the team fly out to Pakistan in 3 days. We've got the Test. We've got a warm-up game on the 10th of January to the 12th of January, and then we've got the 2 Test matches against Pakistan to decide the wooden spoon down bad champion. The women's team have just returned from India after losing 2-1 in the T20s and 3-0 in the ODIs. So that's kind of some of the more recent stuff that's gone on. Keith Rowley, PM, Trinidad and Tobago PM, was cussing out. There was an article, I think he went on Andre Errol Baptiste, is that his name? I think he went on his show in Trinidad over the last 24 hours and was cussing about governance reform and so on and so forth. So there's that. There's bits and pieces, but ultimately it's the end of the year, so we can also talk about your kind of highlights, lowlights of 2024. But like I say, remember, the award show is happening tomorrow, so we'll be talking about all of that. Anyways, where's the link anyway? Yes, Amos Ben Israel says you are correct. 5 got killed this morning. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Whenever I hear state of emergency in a Caribbean country, particularly Jamaica or Trinidad, it's just an excuse to go kill gunmen. So you know, it is what it is. People unfamiliar with the Caribbean, like that ain't anything. That ain't anything. We know the drill. So yeah, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe. The link is in the chat if you want to come on live. In the meantime, I'll just check some comments and we'll go from there. Seconds. Oh, it's too hot in this beanie. Let me take this beanie off. It's hot. Beanie's hot right now. Right. Okay. Carter Kea looks like he's the first person. Looks like he's the first person who's going to come on. Link is in the chat, people. I'll just give people, before I bring Carter Kea on, actually, I'll just give people a few minutes to decide who actually wants to come on the show. You don't have to, by the way. All I ask is that you make your points succinct. And we go from there. We've got 3 already lined up who want to come on the show today. Like, share, subscribe, people. Share the link. Send it in the WhatsApps. Send it in the Facebooks. Send it in the OnlyFans. Send it in the Snapchats. Send it in the TikToks. Send it in the Discords. Send it in all of them. Send it in all of them. Thing is, I've got to protect my voice. I've got to protect my voice for tomorrow's show. So I'm trying to keep this one on a low energy one tonight because we've got an award show to do tomorrow. So check this out, by the way, people. Let me share my screen. Let me show you lot something. In the meantime, whilst I wait for people to go in the background and say they're coming on the show, let me show you lot something. I couldn't believe it. Look what Santoki sent me earlier on. Imagine. Let me share my screen with you lot. 1 second. Let me show you lot something. Look at this. Who did this? Which one? Who did this? Who created a Wikipedia page for me, please? Who? I need answers. I need answers. Who has searched my life and said, yeah, I'm gonna write. Look, they've even put he occasionally teams up with Australian cricket writer Jared Kimber. Like what? How? Who's been preing me? Who's given me a Wikipedia page? I need answers. If anybody knows who's done this, let me know, please. You look, someone's created a Wikipedia page like I'm actually somebody important. Like, how have I got a Wikipedia page? Who did this? I need to know. I need to know. I want to know who felt that I needed a Wikipedia page. They got my government information out there and all sorts. Now, what's going on? Now, listen, this is boy. Anyways, my government name, you know, out on Wikipedia. Now, you don't remember, I'm a teacher, you know. Kids are gonna find that. Who did this? I need answers. Right. So, anyways, let's get into the show. Carter Care's up first. Let's bring on Carter Care. 1 second, we were just seeing if there's. Hold on, Carter Care. I'm just seeing if there's any comments that I missed in the meantime. Right, yeah. Let's bring Carter Care on. Right, let's go. Yes, Carter Care. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mash. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Let me just check. Is this the same Carter Care in the Discord?
Yeah, it's the same. I'm KJ1999.
Right. Okay. So just to check. So right, that's all right. So we're good to go then. So when I do that Caribbean Cricket Podcast Challenge, you're coming on then, yeah?
Yeah, I'm coming on.
All right. Perfect. Right. That's. I'll get back in touch with you in the Discord to set that all up.
Yeah, sure. So I had like 2 points to make today. So one would be the women's series that just happened, and the other would be the squad we selected for the Test series against Pakistan. So for the women's series, like I honestly expected better in the ODIs, but it was like the same problems that resurfaced again, and like the main being the lack of any attacking pace bowler. Because at the moment there's only Chanel Henry and Shamila Cornell, but I do not think either of them are like attacking options. Like they're like serviceable like economy bowlers, but there's no one at the top to like take any wickets. And that was the main issue in this series because the Indian openers always like got off to good starts, laid the platform, and like any team that is like 60 for North in 10 hours, you would expect them to make like 300 plus. And that would always be like hard to chase. And also like the batting at the top was like very poor from the West Indies women, especially like Doughton. Like as a senior player, I expected her to like apply herself better in the ODIs, but a lot of times she was just like playing cross-batted shots against like the new ball when it was swinging. So that was like very disappointing to see, in my opinion.
So the first thing I'm going to do is bear with me, Carter Care, because I wanna shout someone out on this. Let me just see if I can do it. Bear with me. So I'm just sharing my screen for a second for everyone. So can you see the screen as well, Carter Care?
Oh yes, I can.
Right. Okay. So what I'd like everybody to do, they don't have to do it now. Maybe you do want to do it now whilst Carter Care and I are talking. But underneath this video, so I recorded the video earlier this week of West Indies women will play the World Cup qualifiers, right? And there is a supporter of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, or follow the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, goes by the name of A Moment to Think. And she has given a massive breakdown of all the things currently wrong with I'm kind of hovering over it now. Has given a massive breakdown, I'm just highlighting it, of all the things currently wrong with the West Indies women's setup on and off the pitch. And I encourage everybody to read it. You'll see it's gone all the way down to K. So A, B, C, D, E, like he's given a complete and utter fundamental breakdown. So everything that I'm about to say, I'm not saying that what I'm about to say isn't valid, but I encourage everybody to go and read that post. I'll just stop sharing it now. I'm encouraging everybody to go and read that post because it really breaks down the myriad of problems that we've currently got in the women's game. But to kind of come back to you on it, Kartikeya, I don't think there's any. I don't have any answers in a nutshell for the women, because T20 cricket, they can often, and we saw it in the World Cup earlier this year, they can often overperform because all you need in the women's game in T20 cricket is one of Hayley or Deandra to produce something out of this world, and which they are completely capable of, which can lead to upsetting teams like we did to England in the World Cup earlier this year, right? So T20 cricket, I'm not so much bothered by. ODI cricket is an extra 30 overs of batting, and there's fundamental issues that we've got in the women's game. One, the level of domestic the level of the domestic game in the Caribbean is just not good enough. You cannot develop, our players cannot develop. It's a similar thing for the men. Our players cannot develop just by playing domestic cricket. And for the women, it's even worse because they don't play it often enough.
Yep.
So when the women's team, they're all home now, right? Until the next camp or until that series is with Bangladesh, what happens now? What do they do? If they're not in the West Indies Academy, what are they doing in their territories? Now, Hayley and Deandra, they're an exception because they get big bash deals, or they get fair break deals, or the women's IPL or the 100. They're always going to be able to work on their game because they're going abroad. And this must be why head coach Shane has started that process of taking he took those 6 players out to Australia. Before, was it 6 or was it 4? But to Australia to play some grade cricket games in Australia, because I think that's an admission by him and the West Indies setup that we cannot develop them in the Caribbean. It's probably the same reason why the West Indies just took
8 or 10 players
the 7 players to India, Jordan Johnson and Kurt McKenzie and Jewel and so on and so forth. I think it's an admission that if we just leave these players in the Caribbean, they cannot take their games forward, or they can, but the level or the ceiling to which they can take their game forward is so limited that you're forever going to be, and I say this with the greatest respects, your ceiling is going to be like a Kavem Hodge, where it's like, I'm going to work on my game, but there's only so much I can work on it in this same environment that I find myself in. So the women have it worse because the developmental structures aren't uniform throughout the different territories. They don't get enough experience to go anywhere else. So you're right to say we don't have no seamers, but the problem is, where are they going to come from?
Yeah, I don't think so. There's any like upcoming young seamers either, because there's like Gajnabi, there's Fraser, but I don't think like they are the answers to the problems. So I'm also not sure like where the seamers are going to come from.
So the answer to that is they'll come from the West Indies Academy. So it's worth reminding everyone that there is a girls version of the West Indies Academy, similar to the boys version. But the question mark, and I don't know if this is the right way to answer it, is, do we look at the West Indies? Is it easier to transition out a talented player in the women's academy and put them straight into the senior setup than it would be in the men's version? Do you see what I mean? So if they see somebody in that West Indies academy who's like 17, 18, 19, and like, you have potential, do we just fast forward them into the senior squad as soon as possible? Or like the boys version, do we say, you know what, it's best they just stay in this academy working and honing their craft over and over and over again until they marinate and are ready to go up to the senior level? But do we have that time to wait in the women's game?
I think we should like fast track them, because there's not like much choice in the women's game. At least the men's game, we have like 5 or like 10 pacers competing, and they regularly play like more domestic cricket than the women. But at the moment, the women's team literally has like zero pacers, I would say, who are like international quality in the ODI setup. So we got to start like fast tracking a couple of seamers, because now we're going to play World Cup qualifiers, and when the next women's championship starts, it would
Mm.
be like the same issue. So might as well try someone new, because the current pacers are like not working at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. What's even worse is you're mentioning the Pacers, and I look at someone like Shamila Cannell. She's not even bowling her allocation, so it's not even that we don't have Pacers. When you're looking at the use of them, they're not even. So if you're not even bowling your allocation and you're only in the team as a bowler,
Yeah.
what are you in the team to do?
Yeah.
Did-
Wait. Yeah.
so there's several questions on that front that also need to be asked in that regard. So I make you right. I don't have the answers as yet. I'm sure when certain people watch this on the replay, if not live now, they may have some answers below. But put it this way, I'm going to just say, I'll say this now. I can envisage a situation where we don't qualify for the World Cup, only because all it would take is Hayley not coming off and Deandra not coming off, and all of a sudden you're in a situation. And it doesn't matter if it's Ireland, Bangladesh, if it's them, Pakistan, because it's the top two. So Ireland, Bangladesh,
True.
Pakistan, us, Scotland, Thailand.
New
Okay.
Zealand may also be in that
It
top.
could be New Zealand instead of Bangladesh. And
Yeah.
if it's New Zealand, we're in serious doo-doo, because New Zealand will definitely qualify.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's already one. If it's Bangladesh, it's anybody can qualify. But if it's New Zealand, they're definitely qualifying.
That's true.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, who's taking the last spot? And so I can envisage. Then you're relying on Hayley and Deandra, and hopefully Stefani, if they can get her back fit, to have to do the work. So we could find ourselves in problems.
But one positive we could take is the spinners bowled really well, generally. Like Rama Rak has been bowling well for like a long time. So if you can build around that, and if the batters do their jobs, maybe we could qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah, no, I agree. But then you have to ask yourself, so what's the metric of success here? Is it just get into the World Cup? Because if we qualify and we get to the World Cup, then what? What's the metric of success of the women's team in ODI cricket? Is it just making a World Cup and then just getting knocked out in the group stage? Like, do you see what I mean? Because then you have to think about, so what am I saying? What am I trying to say here? What's the KPIs here for the women's team
Semi-final would be like a successful campaign.
in ODI cricket?
I think we made the semi-final like 1 or 2 World Cups ago, if I'm not
Yeah, I
wrong.
think the one in New Zealand we got there, but
Yeah.
I need to go back and look to see if that team had Anisa Mohammed.
I think they did have Anisa.
Yeah, so Anisa Mohammed was also a kind of goat of the regional game.
Yeah.
And she's obviously retired now. So I think I'm not saying that those things aren't possible, but it needs a lot of things to go right.
Yep.
Is basically what I'm saying. But we shall see.
Yep. And moving on to the second point, the test squad released, the one we're gonna take to Pakistan. And one omission I would say is like there was no attacking off spinner, if I remember right. Like
Yeah.
they took Moti, I think Varikam, but I would have loved to see someone like Cornwall, because I don't think so. Sinclair is like the answer at the moment. His bowling has not clicked at the international level so far. So someone like a Rakeem Cornwall would have added a lot, because we saw in the recent England series that Pakistan kind of transitioned to preparing turners. So I really expect they're going to lay out turners against the West Indies, because all they need to do is get a spinning track and their 2 spinners bowl on both ends. And I do not think that West Indies batters would have like any answers to that.
Yeah, I would assume if we make any scores above 180 against Pakistan, then I'm taking the moral victory from that. But do you know what? obviously there'll be lots of people who will cuss and say Raheem Cornwall has no place in the West Indies Test side, but your point is valid in the sense of we've gone to Pakistan without an attacking off spinner. People can tell me that Kevin Sinclair is an attacking off spinner, but I'm not buying that. He's possibly better with the bat than he is with the ball. But I don't even know if he'll play, to tell you the truth. Given how the West Indies currently configure their Test side, I'm not even sure if they'll play an off spinner. What, they'll ask Alec Athanaze and Craig Brathwaite to bowl their lollipops? Because
Moti will play, in my opinion.
Moti will play and Warwickam will play, but they're the same. They're both slow left arm orthodox, right?
Yeah.
Then you're expecting two pacers, which should likely be Jaden Seals and Kimar Roach, certainly in the first test. So that's your four bowlers, right? Josh at 7, probably Justin Graves at 6. So I don't know where the other spinner comes in.
They could play Kevin Sinclair at 6 instead of Justin Graves.
Yeah, but I just don't see them dropping Graves. I don't think you can.
Yep.
Even though you're supposed to be ruthless and go horses for courses and say this pitch needs a spinner, so Justin Graves, you're not playing. That's not the West Indies way. Their way is to be like, you just scored a century, so you're playing regardless of what the pitch says. Do you see what I mean? So I don't see how Sinclair plays, which means that if they need an off spinner, it's got to be Craig Brathwaite's slow lollipop.
And this also means that they're setting like a precedent of like picking players on like recent form and vibes instead of like actual like performances over the years. And like I think Jangu is a good pick, but Jangu is also more of like a form pick because I think he's had like 2 good domestic seasons recently, but overall his record is like not great. But Jangu is a good pick, but I think the way they're doing it is they're picking guys on like form rather than like performances.
Do you know what they're doing right now? And I'm so intrigued to see how it's going to change when Sammy gets the head coach position. But what they're doing right now, and I'm going to use a crude way of explaining it, but that doesn't mean I'm calling the players this. It's just the way I'm explaining it. They're basically throwing shit against the wall and just hoping something sticks. That's the reality. That's actually where we've now reached. It's just pick anybody we can based on the loosest kind of definition of picking that we can go for and just hope something happens. Because I was thinking about it the other day, and if you'll know, because I've said this in the Discord, and I'm now saying this to the wider audience, my New Year's resolution in 2025 for West Indies cricket, CCP will still run, but my New Year's resolution is to just accept that everybody in the Caribbean is shit. I've just accepted it now. Every single player is shit. And I know people will hear that. Some of the players will hear this and get in their feelings about it. But it's not personal. It's not personal. I'm not saying I think you're a shit guy. I'm just saying our cricketing ability in the Caribbean is shit. So I've now come to terms with it. I've gone into the temple and I've forgiven all of them. It's not their fault. They're all trying their best. They're just shit. And I'm just going to support and accept that if they win, we give thanks, but we have to assume they're going to lose. And that's my resolution in 20. They can't get to me no more. We have to just all accept it, that there's nothing that just accept that defeat is 95% probability in all formats of the game.
Yeah.
And we can all come to, if we all accept that, we don't have to worry about, we haven't picked an off spinner or who's going to play in this game or who's going to play in that game. If we start from a basis of going, yeah, but they're shit, then we're fine. It doesn't matter what happens next.
Yeah, I don't expect anything apart from like a whitewash in the Pakistan series. But what we could expect is maybe the batters to give some fight. And like, even if they cross like 200, 250, I think that would be like a good performance in my opinion.
If they cross 250... If they cross 250, I'm chartering a plane back for them. Big celebration in every island. Every island, we must celebrate them and give them like freedom of the island for wherever they're all from. If they cross 250 in Pakistan, all of them get a medal. All of them.
Yeah, but it also depends on the pitch. If like Pakistan create like flat tracks, I would expect the batters to do better. But if it's like the spinny tracks they create against England, then
Yeah,
250
it's
would be
curtains.
like my max.
It's
Max.
curtains.
Yeah.
It's curtains. And actually, you raise an important point, which is that the biggest issue we've got, and this goes for all formats of the game, is that once a pitch starts deviating, whether it's pace, whether it's seam, whether it's swing, whether it's spin, we just look out of our depth.
Yep.
With that, and that's the reality of the situation. Unless the pitch is flat, any collapse is possible with the West in any format of the game. We just saw it against Bangladesh in
Yep.
St. Vincent. If a pitch just isn't flat in any format, there is no strong format for the West Indies once the pitch is doing something. Anything is possible once the pitch is doing a little bit. That doesn't mean that we can't exploit it. It just means that we know that we can't bat on it.
Yep.
If you see what I mean. So I'm worried about Pakistan because the only thing we can hope for is that Pakistan think to themselves, yeah, but we want this game to go longer than 2 days. Because if they do produce a ranked Turner, I think they can take all 20 wickets against us in 2 days.
Yep.
And that's not even me being harsh. I just think they could. If it's a ranked Turner, remember Cornwall, Permol, Brian Charles, Kevin Sinclair, name any domestic spinner and they spin down the whole region every year, right?
Yep.
So what's gonna happen in Pakistan? What's gonna happen in Pakistan?
Paramount is like Murli of West Indies.
That's what I'm saying. Permol has about 2,800 wickets in domestic cricket. Spins down the whole region year after year. So what do you think is going to happen in Pakistan if they put a spinning pitch?
Yeah, they destroyed England too, so they're surely going to destroy West Indies.
But we have to. But as I always say, we have to rally anyways.
Yes,
So
always.
that's the main thing.
You always hope for a miracle, but
That's what I'm saying. And look, listen, did we not get one in Australia? So we have to rally. You never know. We got a miracle in the Gabba, so you never know.
Yep. Okay, that's all I had. We can move on to the next person.
No worries. Cheers, God care.
Yeah,
I'll be in touch about the episode coming up.
Yep, sure. Looking
Cool.
forward.
No worries.
Yeah, see you. Cheers.
Yeah. Yes, people. Sorry, let me just look at some comments. Rod says Pakistan could make us back-to-back innings, forfeit theirs, and we would still nah, Rods. Nah, not accepting that one. I'm not accepting that one. I'm cold, but I'm not accepting that one. Although I know where you're coming from, but I refuse. I refuse to accept that one. Right. Boy. Okay, cool. Let's bring on Ronaldo. 1 second. Just tweet that we're live for people. 1 second, Ronaldo. I'm coming. Right, okay, let's bring Ronaldo on the show. Remember to like the video, people, share, subscribe, all of that. Right. Okay, let's do it, Ronaldo. Yes, Ronaldo, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Mach. Greetings. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
First thing I want to say, happy holidays and congratulations. Somebody put you on Wikipedia. Means you're up there now, man. You're up there.
I need to find out. I need to find out who did that.
And I'm happy that person did it because I think it's a step in the right direction. And you never know. Ajit Agakar, he was on YouTube on ESPN, and look, he's now selector of India's cricket team. I'm saying something here, Mash. You never know. You might be the guy next in line. So you know what? You never know. Actually, yeah, you never know. You never know. Life is fun. So I love the work you're putting in, and I think it's a step in the right direction. But I have 3 points to make, and I'm going to start by challenging your Christmas wish list. You said if we get one victory in 2025 in Test cricket, that will make your wish list. And I'm like, hold on, just hear me out, Mash. Once Sammy takes over. I'm not saying Sammy is going to create some miracle, but I'm saying Sammy is in charge when Australia gets here. Australia haven't been to the Caribbean in how many years? They no
Yeah,
longer
it's a
have
long
Michael,
time. It's a long time. Yeah.
and they don't have Michael Clark and David Warner. And I compare the averages of Usman Khawaja and all of these guys, apart from Travis Head, none of them batters are better than West Indies. Khawaja 28 match, Brathwaite's 20 odd. Manus Labuschagne, I know he made some runs the other day, but he's been out of form 2024 as well. Steve Smith just getting back in the rhythm. But Mitchell Marsh has been worse than Kavem Hodge and Alec Athanaze. I'm telling you, Australia, their batting, it does look like Australia anymore. And I think if we are smart, South Africa barely managed to beat us in Guyana. I think what was it? We lost by what? 30 odd runs chasing 260, we made 220.
I think it was
I
40
think
runs. Yeah.
Yeah, 40 runs. I think Australia don't play spin that well. Bring them to Jamaica, bring them to Guyana, and let's say even Barbados, right? I think if we're very selective about our venues, I think we can push Australia all the way because I think they're hurting from that Gabba defeat and they don't even want to play us in a 2-match series. They feel so offended that we managed to beat them. They say, you know what, we need to go to the Caribbean and stomp these boys 3-0. But I want them to come and get a huge surprise that, you know what, we might only be making 200, but guess what? Australia can also be bowled out for less than 200 because their batting has shown a lot of vulnerability. I've been watching even this India series, and I'm telling you, Mash, they're showing a lot of vulnerability. This ain't the mighty Aussies I'm used to. They were in the Caribbean in the T20 World Cup, and we saw when they went on dodgy pitches as well in St. Vincent how Afghanistan whopped them up, right? So they themselves can't play on these pitches. They're used to their true bouncy pitches and, flat tracks, MCG. Trust me, when they get to the Caribbean, they're struggling for form. They're going to be struggling for more form. And I think Sammy having that energy and backing the boys, and I think some special picks will be there. I think you're going to get more than your wish list. I think we're going to win more than one of those games. I think we might be able to pull off something. And if we don't win the series, I think it might be a 1-all draw. I'm just saying. For the Australia, we'll definitely lose to India 2-0. Let's forget that series. New Zealand, yeah, we're definitely getting whopped there. But I think in the Caribbean, where our bowlers are so good, I think we can pull out something against Australia. I would like your response there.
So wait, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna defend you only on one part of what you said. The one thing I will defend you on is Australia haven't come to the Caribbean in a long time. I accept that in terms of Test cricket. So I accept that for Marnus. Who's the new boy? Constas or
Sam Constas. Yeah.
Constas. Yeah. I mean, they've come for some of them have come for ODI series and stuff like that. So I'm willing to accept that there may be a certain level of adaptation the Aussies will have to make to playing in the Caribbean. And I'm also willing to accept that we have a bowling attack that can make in our own conditions.
Top 5.
that can make it. Okay, let me rephrase that. We have a bowling attack that, if it's playing in the right conditions within our own conditions, that could cause problems for the Aussies. But that's where my agreement ends. Just because we're talking about, though, regardless of experience in the Caribbean, how little or how much they've got, we're talking about Khawaja may well retire by the time before he even gets to the Caribbean. He may retire by the World Test Championship and not even come to the Caribbean. But let's just say he does. You're talking about Khawaja averages 40 plus, Marnus averages 40 plus, Steve Smith averages 50 plus.
57 is crazy.
Travis averages 40 plus. Mitch Marsh, I'm willing to accept is rubbish. But none of our batters average over 30 except Craig. So
I want to use the 2024 numbers. So Kawaja in 2024 averaged like 28. Sam Coins is new. Manus averaged like 26.
yeah, but Manus
Yeah.
has just found some form in this India series. I think he's got a couple 70s. Steve Smith scored a couple centuries.
Yeah, but
Our players, we're celebrating our players scoring 25. So hold on a minute. I can't see it.
I think it's luck because Manus faced 140 deliveries for his 70, and I think they said on commentary he got beaten like 56 times. I'm like, in the Caribbean, I think his edge he'd nick off. That's it. He's gone for 5. I'm telling you, it's home condition. Luck just tend to go in your way. Kohli, first ball he played outside off stump, he's out. And Manus, he's able to miss 57. Life is so unfair, man.
So hold on. Just out of interest, when they do turn up, who are the players you're expecting Sammy to have at his disposal with the bat that can do anything?
Well, I'm hoping to see Shea Hope. I'm really hoping. I'm hoping to see Brandon King in the middle order, 3-4. Okay. And I'm hoping to see either Rutherford or Kyle Mears. I want somebody like a Travis Head, that sort of baseball type player at 5 or 6. So Rutherford or Kyle Mears.
So does that mean that are you saying that? So where's Alec Afanase? Are you done with him?
I'm not saying I'm done with him, but I think Alec has showed a lot of promise. But I think I need to send Alec back to first class and say, go on average 35 for the next first class season. Say, go on average 35.
What about Kevin Hodge?
Kevin Hodge is still going to be in my squad. I just think, he's a good player. I like him. But if I'm looking at ceiling, I like to look at ceiling. I think Kevin has played enough first class games for me to realize that his ceiling looks to be, he's going to be on average a guy who averaged 29, 28. Mm-hmm. I think Rutherford or Kyle Mears may have a higher ceiling, and the fact that Kyle Mears offers something with the ball and can be more destructive, and he's a left-hander, so he can cope. For example, the other day I saw Taijul just run through or right-handers on day 5 because we have 9 right-handers in our team, and the left-arm spinner just came and ran through the middle. I think Kyle Mears being a left-hander, being explosive, also the fact that he can, bowl some in-swingers or whatever you want to call it, and he's very good in terms of his bowling in Test cricket. I'd like to see a Rutherford or a Kyle Mears, and I think I'd love to see those 3 guys. I'm desperately hoping to see those 3.
Hold on. So what about Justin Graves?
Justin is still in the squad. Justin is fine. I think he's fine. He's fine. Doesn't have to play. He's in the squad.
Who's opening with Craig at the moment? Oh, what about Mikael Louis?
Tough one. Honestly, if Evan Lewis says he's ready, I'm sorry. I'm telling Mikael, go back to first class as well. Or if John Campbell, I don't know. I just want a left hand at the top. And hear me out, man. Hear me out. Who is the best opener in 2024? Yashaswi Jaiswal, left-hander, strike rate 75. The second best opener in Test cricket is who? England, Ben Duckett. Left-hander, strike rate above 90. That's crazy. The next best opener in Test cricket is Tony Dazozi, left-hander. And I think Craig Brathwaite would benefit from having either John Campbell or even Evan Lewis at the other end, a left-hander who goes hard and allows Craig to play his natural. And if you even look at Australia now, Sam Constance is going to go crazy, but then it allows Steve Smith, Manus, and Kawaja just to play their natural innings, right? I think you have to have somebody at the top that just go. Not necessarily crazy, but yeah.
So let me ask you something. I hear all those people you mentioned.
Yeah.
Would you reassess your judgment if Sammy takes over and in the first series there's no wholesale changes? So if it's still the same people who are playing now, would you still expect us to beat Australia?
It was the same players. Yeah, I would think then that Amir Django would have to play in the starting 11, but I'd still think maybe we can win a game. But then I'd share your sentiment. If it's the same squad, I'd share your sentiment. I'd then jump on the wagon and hope that we win again.
But then hold on. Eve say so remember, I said my wish for 2025 was that we win one test match.
Yeah.
But your wish is the same though, because you're saying that we'll beat Australia in one.
Yeah.
You said we'd lose both to India.
Yeah, India and New Zealand, yeah. That's
Yeah, but then that's all our test matches done.
yeah.
Because what's going to happen in Pakistan? What are you saying about Pakistan?
I'm not even anything is anything. If we win a game, I'm happy. If we make 250, I'm happy. Because I'm looking at Pakistan versus South Africa. A lot of people think Pakistan is easy to beat on flat tracks. Nah, and I look at their seam attack. If they prepare a flat track, I think they have quality seam because they're testing South Africa real good. So it don't even matter which track Pakistan prepare. And Kartikeya just made a good point. Like, what do you think about Kevin Sinclair being our attacking spinner? Because Pakistan have 3 left-handers in the top 5. How do we not have an off spinner to a team who has 3 left-handers in the top 5? One who averages almost 60. Shad Shakil. It's mind-blowing how we don't make tactical decisions. And
I can only assume that they think that Kevin Sinclair is an attacking off spinner, and if they don't, why is he in the team? So I have to assume that Cricket Logic is playing here and they believe that he can do the job. Because if they've picked him, which is something that we sometimes do in West Indies cricket, if they've picked him because they're like, but he can bat a bit, that's not the reason to pick him. You've got to pick him on the skill set you need first. And the skill set you need first is, can he take wickets with off spin? And if they believe he can, then I get why he's there. If they don't believe he can, but have picked him because he can bat a bit, then he shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I agree. I guess we're on the same page then. But let's hope Sammy create a lot of changes. But my second point now, Mash, is onto T20s. I'm like you, I share the same sentiment. We lost 3-0 to Bangladesh, but I'm not worried about that. I don't know why we brought the T20s to St. Vincent, knowing that, St. Vincent was like the worst place in the World Cup and all the teams with better spinners won. How do you bring Bangladesh there? But, I mean, onto T20s, what do you think, though, about Shea Hope always being like the backup opener? When things are going wrong in the World Cup, he then moves to the opening spot, does well. Then the next series, he's no longer the opener. When things go bad, he then jumps in again in like the final game, opens, does well. Next series again, South Africa, open, we beat South Africa 3-0. Next series again, England, he's back to number 3. Openers having a bad time of it. Then he's back to being at the top against England. What's your thoughts about that? Shouldn't we just make Shea Hope our permanent T20 opener? What's the problem?
There's 2 problems I've got here with this. Problem 1 is clearly they actually want King and Lewis to be the openers. Now that Evan Lewis is back, it'll be King and Evan Lewis. The question mark is, should Brandon King get an automatic place? That's question mark number 1.
I don't think so.
But then the second issue for Shea is actually Roston Chase, because Roston Chase is in the team as the 6th bowling option, who actually bowls as one of the top 5 bowling options, but he's the 6th bowling option to balance out the side. But because we put Roston Chase in, there's 1 space less for a batter, and the other batters pick themselves. So what is it when everyone's available? It's Puran, Rutherford, Rovman, Powell. That's your 3 in whatever order. That's your 3, 4, 5, and then you've got like Chase at 6, Dre when he comes back at 7, Romario so the actual problem for Shea is there's actually no spot for him in the team. But, and this is where I agree with you, should they be looking at Shea going, but he has to play? So in the same way how they're like, well, Pooran has to play, so we just make a spot for Pooran. Should they be looking at Shea Hope and going, well, Shea has to play, we just have to make a spot for him. And if somebody has to lose out, then somebody has to lose out. But I would actually be looking at the West Indies team, I'm talking full strength now, and saying, hold on, do you need both Rutherford, do you need both Romario and Dre to both be... Do you need batting down to number 8 is basically my point. And I don't think... If you need batting down to 8 in a T20 team, something's wrong with your batters. Because whoever's playing at number 8 should be being picked because they're expected to bowl their full allocation, not be picked like the way that Romario is because, oh, you're also a late order hitter, so you're doing a dual role here. Like, your first job is bowl your allocation. Do you see what I mean? So there's a few holes about the way the T20 side is constructed and why I don't think basically we can win a World Cup.
I remember you were on TalkSport, and that's the problem. On TalkSport, you were discussing with Hamilton and company, and you were telling them that Andre Russell and Shepherd, they're in the top 5 in terms of pace bowlers. If you were just to rate them based on their bowling, I mean, I don't think Shepherd makes a team because he's a late order hitter. I think he actually makes a team because he's one of our better bowlers. I mean, when Seals in that final T20 replaced Akil Osei, you could see the big disparity in the power play. Seals, youngster, not yet ready. Apart from Alzari, I think it's either Shepherd or Russell is our next best T20 ball. So I think they genuinely made the team as a bowler, and then it helps that they're destructive. And Russell is just in the T20 team of the year for both ESPN and Crick Buzz. So clearly Russell, Shepherd, they have to play. They're bowling better than Shamar Joes. They're bowling better than everybody else.
But then that means there's no spot for Hope.
But that's what I'm saying. King, even though he's vice captain, I think King needs to earn his spot. I'm gonna start a series with King on the bench. Don't start Hope on the bench. Hope make 50 and next game you see Hope on the bench. Like, what? Hope is doing so well as an opener in the next game. Hope starts on the bench. That don't make no sense to me. The man made 250s against South Africa, and we won 3-0. Yes, we weren't at full strength, and South Africa weren't at full strength, but Hope did well. Then come England, Hope is on the bench for the first game. That don't make no sense to me. So I think King needs to start on the bench, and then if Hope is not doing as well, and I think, look at Hope in the Big Bash right now. He's batting at number 3, coming in the first over, and the man looks $1 million. I can't believe I'm staying up early watching Shea Hope, but he's just all class. So I think Hope definitely with Lewis. I think Hope, I don't know, his demeanor, something about him, he's just calm. He knows to, he's a lot more situational, aware of what's happening. I just like Shea Hope as an opener. And I think it's a waste to not have him in the team. That's just me.
Do you know what? I'm not going to disagree. The only disagreement, and it's not my disagreement, but the only disagreement people might have is they may say, yes, Hope should be in the team, but not at the expense of Brandon King. I'm not bothered about it. If it's King for Hope, Hope for King, I'm cool with that. But I actually think the issue is Chase. I think Chase is the one who both balances the team, but also takes away the spot of someone who we could benefit from being in the team. If you see what I mean.
I see Chase as a bowler.
Exactly. I now see him as a bowler.
He's a bowler.
So,
he's an economical bowler. Yeah.
He's a defensive, economical bowler. He's now in the team as a bowler who has the ability to do a bit with the bat. So, But I'm not against your idea of resting King to give Hope a run at the top with Evan, but we shall see.
I'm a final point now, Mash. I know we've criticized our first class system a lot in terms of just our T20 structure, 50 over, and our 4-day competition. And I'm watching around the world, and apart from, let's say, England and South Africa, I don't see a lot of teams producing bowlers bowling 140 clicks I don't see a lot of first class competition where you're seeing that high quality pace anymore. It's a lot of dibbly doubly medium seamers. I mean, apart from, as I said, England and South Africa, everywhere else. I'm even watching Big Bash, and usually Australia have loads of pace bowler when you watch Big Bash from the days of Chris Gale. And now it's like, yeah, Michael Nessa, Spencer Johnson. Australia, I think they'd struggle to get a second pace attack. You look in India, right now it's basically Jasprit Bumrah as their seamer. Yes, Mohamed Shami is missing, but I'm looking at it. In the Caribbean, we're facing same struggles as all the other countries around. And I'm just wondering, why do you think that is? And do you now think we're really as bad as we think, or first class, as much as we say it is rubbish or first class system, if we actually were to analyze other first class systems, whether Sheffield in Australia or whatever in the other country, Ranji Trophy in India, would you actually think our first class system is actually that bad? Apart from we just play limited amount of games.
No, I have to say it's bad simply because the evidence shows us that the players can't transition from first class cricket. I was thinking about this again the other day, right? I'm going to look at the context of Test cricket, but I'm sure I could use it for Super 50 as well. Since the Professional Cricket League was created in 2014, when we had the walkout in India and Bravo and that lot were told you're going to have to sacrifice some of your money to make sure more people can eat a food in the Caribbean to play cricket, we haven't produced one batter. Not one. No one can bat. Now, some people might say to me, Shea Hope, but Shea Hope went to school in England. He got that scholarship to go to a school in England, right? I'm not saying that's the only reason Shea Hope is good, but the point is he went somewhere else, right? Pooran obviously is good, but we'll never see him tested in Test cricket. So I don't know where. Evan Lewis is good, but we'll never see him tested in Test cricket. Test cricket is the pinnacle in terms of testing your true ability to do everything, right? And West Indies don't have anybody. We haven't produced a batter in 10 years. Our domestic system can't even produce anyone to average over 30, right? And so all the while, I'll even use your phrase that you used back at yourself. You want Alec to go back to domestic cricket and average over 35. He's supposed to go to domestic cricket and average over 45. Do you see what I mean? Because if you can't, when I saw Fazeer Mohammed when he was over here for the England series earlier this year, when he was cussing about something, and I went to speak to him, and it was like we'd had our usual collapse at one of the games, and Fazeer looked at me and said, I'm paraphrasing, but Fazeer looked at me and said, do you know how crazy it is that we're artsing batters who don't even average 30 domestically to come and average over 30 in international cricket? It's like, we shouldn't even be asking them to do this. They don't know how to do it. So I just look at that and just think our domestic system is fundamentally flawed. In fact, Obama Prospers made the point here. Machel Louis played 7 games and averaged scored 600 and something runs in those 7 games last season. Was averaging high 48. He's come into Test cricket and been found out because he's actually severely limited. He hasn't got. Is it the front foot? He's severely weak on one of them. I think it's the front foot, not the back foot. So what that shows me and Machel Louis may well turn out to be good eventually, but what that shows me is you can do well domestically with fundamental flaws, make it through to the Test arena, find out that those fundamental flaws will get you found out, but then not know how to correct it because the fundamental flaws that you've got are good enough to dominate in domestic cricket.
That was with Devon Smith, and I really like Devon Smith, and he was just. I agree with you totally there. I didn't think about it that way, so I must agree. So I mean, in closing and in leaving, Mash, I just want to wait. I had a point I wanted to highlight before I left. I guess I'll highlight that point next week. Well, I'm looking forward to your competition, the Caribbean Cricket Podcast Challenge. Looking forward to that. Definitely, it's going to be wonderful. Excited, and as I said, Mash, I love that now you're there on Wikipedia. I mean, it's a start of great things, and you never know. Next year we might not even have the privilege to have this show with you. 30 shows in 1 year. Next year you might be selector. You know.
Now, if I ever get an important position in Cricket West Indies, I'll make sure my contract states that I'm still allowed to do the show.
All right, thank you, Mash, for having me.
No problem.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, take care. Yeah.
All right.
No problem. Let me eat my sweet before I bring on. Right, the last caller of the evening is Trini Werewolf. Did I see Fireball in the chat? Is Fireball still there? Fireball, if you're still there, put a comment in the chat before I go to Werewolf. I just need to ask Fireball something. Anyways, sorry, people. I was eating some sweets. Right. 177 of you in the live. Like, share, subscribe. So if there's any Trinis in the chat, can you please give us an update on the state of emergency? Where are you lot right now? Are you hiding in your homes? Are gunmen roaming the streets? What's going on for the Trinis right now? What are you hearing right now in Trinidad? Pure gunshot? What's going on? Pure murderation? Someone talk to me. Let's get an update from Trinidad. What's going on with your state of emergency? They need to declare a state of emergency on West Indies cricket. We're being held hostage. We need a state of emergency declaration right now. Right. Young Badri is the next caller, formerly known as Trini Werewolf. Let's bring on Young Badri. I might just make Young Badri talk himself, you know. I got a couple of sweets. I've been meaning to eat. I might just let Young Badri the second just talk whilst I just get to yam my sweets and just cool and chill. I eat one of my sweets right now. Right. So Fireball says that in Trinidad, no curfew. And police are allowed to lock up men without a warrant. So it's a real state. Why no curfew? Do you mean to say there is a curfew? But anyways, so Young Badri the second. Oh, police can enter your home with no warrant. Pfft, pure gunmen getting killed in Trinidad within the next. If that's the case, they're going into garrisons. They're going into the garrison communities. They're going into the ghetto areas. And all you're going to hear is pure gunshot. It's just an excuse to go do murderation. Young Badri the second's going to come on. Anyways, let me just bring him on because I'm just yamming off my sweet right now. Let me bring him on. Yes, Young Badri the second.
A most fortuitous evening to you all.
Are you locked up in your house?
Nope, I'm good. Hope there's no gunman around here for now. Things should be good.
All right. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, a few weeks ago, I wanted to talk about Craig, but seeing as Sammy is taking over as coach, I feel like that might expand the conversation a bit more. Because I was
Craig
looking
in
at
the sense of, as in you want him dropped, or
I wouldn't say drop him, but I'm curious how if Sammy takes over, who is almost already out of his plans.
Right, good question. So, funnily enough, it's interesting you say that because I actually was speaking to Devon earlier on today because I said to Devon, bear with me. I said to Devon, these are the shows that we're going to record in the next week. And sorry, so you can't. I was about to turn my phone to the screen, but you won't see it. But one of the shows I'm recording later this week, Young Badri II, is a show called "Who Must Perform in Pakistan," and I'm going to record that episode looking at who is likely to be dropped or has to get a score or has to take wickets in Pakistan, or we have to assume that that Sammy will get rid of them come the Australia tour, give or take the fact that obviously we've got the 4-day championship season coming up. So, but before I say anything on that, who do you think? Who do you think is under serious scrutiny in Pakistan?
First of all, I have to say Louis, because if you're playing at home and you're not performing as well, and if you're not performing well going abroad, I feel like it's a clear sign you're probably not ready for that step up.
So you got Louis, but then what if Craig doesn't perform as well? Would you replace both? Like, is there any situation in which you can replace both openers? Because I don't see it.
Nah, I don't see it too. Because the way I'm looking at Craig, if I'm curious if Sammy's thinking if he would want a captain like that, because given that, how do I say this? We've seen in a few series where Craig might not be as proactive. So I'm curious if that if Sammy might be thinking about that. I'm wondering if that's something he would want in his test captain.
Okay, that's good. Another good point you've raised there. If Craig is removed as captain, which I think that's what should happen, regardless. Who takes over next under Sammy? If it was Andre Coley, it's a different question to me. But now it's Sammy. Who takes over next?
I feel like it might just have to go to the vice captain. So it might just be Josh. But that's
You think Sammy would co-sign that and say, right, Josh is my new captain. I'm here now. I'm head coach. Josh De Silva is my captain.
I actually don't know. I feel like that might not work out as well either.
But we have to find someone. Someone's got to captain the side.
Yeah. I feel like it might. If Sammy says that Craig, even though you're scoring runs, or if he catches form, given how you might be acting as captain, it might be better to give it to somebody else. Maybe Josh might be able to do that as a keeper, but then there might be more pressure on him.
Okay, then let me give you this scenario. Say Craig loses the captaincy or gives up the captaincy, which I think is more realistic. And let's say Josh has a bad time of it in Pakistan, doesn't score any runs. Can Sammy realistically then give the captaincy to Josh? Because Josh himself is under pressure. So what would you do then if Josh doesn't perform in Pakistan and Craig gives it up? Then what do you do?
Hope and prayers.
So I actually think they'd have to. I don't even know. Like, I'm thinking they'd have to give it. They'd have to give it to Kavem Hodge. Like they'd have to. Who else could, unless they'd be planning to give it to Kamar Roach, but Kamar doesn't necessarily play every test match.
Yeah,
they'd have to give it to Hodge and be like, "Well, you." This is a very serious conversation, you know.
Oh my goodness.
It's either Hodge or it's either Hodge or Sammy convinces somebody from outside who's not previously played tests or maybe previously played tests but now is back, and then say, right, new era, new captain. But otherwise, if it's from the existing lot, it would have to be Hodge. He's not even captain Windward Islands. I think Alex captain Windwards. Don't know if Casey's ever captain Leewards. Graves can't do it. He's just got in the team.
Yeah.
Kimar Roach could do it, but he's probably retiring this year. Alzari Joseph shouldn't be anywhere near the team, full stop. So, like, we can... Listen, Kevin Hodge is the next West Indies captain. That's what I'm saying.
Once we don't see Charles with a C next to his name at some point, I'll be peeing.
I'm not even speaking on that one because boy, anything could happen on that front. But anyways, we shall see. Let me ask you something though. So you said Louis' spot is on the threat. What if Afanay's made a 90-odd and 40-odd in the first test versus Bangladesh, then obviously made nothing in the second? If Afanay's failed in all 4 innings in Pakistan, is he on the is his spot gone?
Yeah, I would say so.
What if Hodge failed in all 4 innings?
Then we're losing our backup captain.
Listen, I'm gonna go on record as saying that the only person whose spot is secure in the top 7 is Justin Graves.
Yeah, I would say so.
He's the only one who can go through a Pakistan series, not really score any runs, and he'd still have credit in the bank to allow him to go and play against Australia. Anybody else who fails, whether it be Hodge, De Silva, Athanaze, Louis, even Carty, and obviously Craig, anybody else who fails, I think there's an argument to say your spot's up for grabs.
Yeah. We can't keep having situations where you could underperform, but you're safe because there's no backup.
Exactly.
Not a Django's there.
You have to be ruthless now, and just be like, it doesn't matter if this, that, or the third. You're not performing, so you're out.
Yeah, because realistically, even if Josh was underperforming, it's been a while, and Imlak still hasn't gotten a goal. But now that Django's coming up, it would help if we had 8-team tours before. So if someone like Django or Imlak made runs, Josh could then feel that he might be in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. That it's a big. Well, I mean, we do have the warm-up game. So actually, that warm-up game against the Pakistan Shaheens or whatever they're called, I actually think that I think your point is valid for that. If one of Imlak or Django makes runs in that warm-up game, and then any one of those top 7 fail in the first test match, I wouldn't be surprised if one of Imlak or Django then played in the second test match. But that's totally dependent on the 2 of them or one of them doing well in the warm-up game.
Yeah.
So
is this everybody's first time in Pakistan?
Yeah, everyone.
Ooh.
Every single person.
It will be interesting.
So they may also get a Pakistan premium in so much as it's a brand new it'll be a brand new experience for everybody in the team. So there may be an additional Pakistan premium. It's like, oh, you're down bad, but we expect you to be down bad because you've never been here before. So
I can kind of see that.
There could be a bit of a Pakistan premium on that. But obviously that doesn't give you cover for duck. Like if somebody did like a Rohit Sharma where they can't even get past 10, then Pakistan premium or not, you're out the team for me.
Yeah, we want players to perform like Kohli and Rohit, but not the current form.
Anyways, listen, do you have any other points that you wanted to bring up?
Just one thing I found very interesting. When Puran broke the record for most runs in a calendar year, Rizwan had the previous record, but Puran played around 40 innings, Puran played close to 80, but he only made close to 300 runs more.
In what format we're talking about? T20s?
T20s,
Well,
which I found very interesting.
I've got a lot of time for Nicholas Puran. I think everyone already knows how talented I believe Nicholas Puran is, but I'm always skeptical around any of the stats that are given out. Like, I think there was a stat recently that Puran's hit the most sixes or something.
Yeah.
But I need to look at the stat again, but because maybe I'm talking nonsense. But hasn't he played more matches than Gale?
Yeah, I think so.
So when I saw the stat and everyone's like, "Oh, Puran's got the record now for most sixes in West Indies international T20 or something," I was thinking, yeah, but he's played more games. Like, I sometimes I see these type of stats. I'm like, so what's the point of the stat exactly? Like, I get it's a record, but like, are we not going to provide any kind of context or relativity to the record? So yeah, I do have a few issues with stats like that.
Yeah. Like, even so, Rizwan made out of the 2000, 1,300 worth for Pakistan, but for Puran, only like 400 worth for West Indies.
Oh, see, even that's why I can't
Yeah.
take it seriously.
Yeah.
Down bad league shouldn't be counted for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take any stats from down bad league seriously, because I don't know which of the cricket in any of the down bad I don't know which of the cricket in any of the down bad leagues is valid cricket, which isn't influenced by underhand activity. So I can't count down bad stats and facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That does lead into a small tease I want to do for next week.
Mm-hmm.
If Sammy has all this power now, do you think he'll be able to have tough conversation with people? Like, then what Craig would be if he thinks that if he should be captain, but would he be able to talk to some players like Puran and ask them, so why are you performing in all these other leagues so well, but when you come to West Indies in the last two series, you're not making runs?
They say that Sammy's a great man manager. So I want to agree with you and say, yes, he'll be able to have those conversations. But then Alzari Joseph walked off the pitch. So how good is the man management? I don't know. Yeah. I want to believe that Darren Sammy is able to talk to all of the players on a level where it comes from a position of professional respect. And I don't think all of the players, whether in the past or present, have always felt like they're being spoken to or treated like in a respectful manner. So I want to believe that, yes, Sammy can do that and have tough conversations, because it's conversations that aren't personal and are done from a position of respect. But we don't know. Proof's in the pudding. The proof will be in the pudding with all of this.
Yeah, that's valid.
All right then. Cool. Listen, thank you as ever for coming on the show.
Welcome.
And yeah, I'll see you, I'm sure, in some format in one or the other very, very soon.
Yep. I'm gonna go put some gunman repellent outside my door.
Yeah. Let me know in the Discord if and when the gunmen are coming.
Right.
All right, no worries. Cool. Right, people, before I go, I just realized there was something that I should have mentioned at the start, which I didn't, and I'm not sure, because not everybody who comes on this platform is follows us on X or social media handles, so you may not be aware of some of the stuff that. Let me just find it. So you may not be aware of some of the stuff that I tweeted. It's not there. 1 second, people. That I tweeted earlier in the week. So let me just find it. Where is it, people? Oh my god, I can't even find it. Where is it? Anyways, I can't find it right now, but long and short of it, people, is that if you don't know, so the West Indies Championship, our Red Bull season, starts next month, about a month from now. 28th, 29th of January. It will run until the 13th of April. There will be 7 rounds. This is the provisional outline or itinerary that I've seen. There will be 7 rounds of the competition. With, I think there's a bit of a break between the end of, there's a break around like the 17th of February through to about the 1st of March. So there's like a 2.5 week break where there's no cricket. So it'll run for 7 rounds. It'll involve the usual teams. So the Leewards, Windwards, Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, CCC, West Indies Academy. So all of that's the same old, but there has been one addition. Every round, apart from the first one, will have 2 pink ball games. No, is that right? Hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's wrong. I've got that wrong. Over the course of the season, so it's not every round. Over the course of the season, there will be a total of 9 pink ball games. Every single territory, apart from CCC, will host a pink ball game in their territory. So there'll be a game at Providence, a game at Sabina, a game at Kensington Oval, Brian Lara Cricket Academy, Arnos Vale, Warner Park, Sir Viv. So there will be a pink ball game at all of those 7 venues. Each team will play 2 pink ball games in total. One, they'll host themselves. The other will obviously be when another team is hosting. And Trinidad will play. Trinidad are the only team that are playing 3 home pink ball games, if I remember. No, sorry. They're the only team playing 3 pink ball games in total. 2 will be at home at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. And then the other one, they'll be away. So everyone plays a total of 2 pink ball games, except Trinidad, who will play 3 of their 7 games will be pink ball. Now, we do not know as yet why there are pink ball games for this year's. There's been no official announcement yet by Cricket West Indies. One about this particular timetable, because obviously, like I say, the one that I've seen is a provisional timetable. It's not been officially confirmed yet. So that's why you won't have heard anything from Cricket West Indies. But what we are assuming is that one of those Australia tests might be a pink ball test, because I don't see why else we'd be playing a pink ball test unless it's to get fans into the stadium, because the times I've been given are the pink ball games will start at 1 p.m. local time and finish at 8 p.m. So I don't know if the pink ball tests are also being I don't know if the pink ball games are also being done with a view to actually attracting people to come to stadiums in the evening. I don't know. But it suggests to me that maybe one of those Aussie test matches is going to be a pink ball game. If that is the case, you'd assume it would be the one in Barbados, because I would assume that the Kensington Oval is the best one, more suited to do it. I've been told that the Barbados tests, when I last saw the provisional lineup, I was told that, when I last saw the provisional lineup for the Australia tests, I was told that one is definitely in Kensington Oval. I think Sabina's getting one. And I can't remember if Grenada was the other place getting us an Australia test. Obviously, everything is subject to change, but I'm just giving you some information that I've been privy to at the time of recording. Things may change, but that's what I know so far. So I'm going to wrap up this show. Just go through the last few comments. TC says, when is the deadline to send in nominations for CCP awards? You've got up until about 4 o'clock tomorrow, maybe 3 o'clock. I might shut it off at 3 o'clock. Let's see, anything else that I've missed. Thank you for that, by the way, TC. Jay says, answer my questions, Mash. What question? See what Jay asks me. Jay, I can't. Oh, any idea of the venues for the? Oh, I've just done that. So yeah, like I said, I've just given you the venues for the Australia home series. I don't know. Well, we're not home. Hold on, we're not home for anything else in tests. We're away. Other than that, but obviously and then ODIs and T20s. We're away in the summer. We go to Ireland in May and June, I think it is, and then England in July for ODIs and T20s. I don't really know what else is going on. outside of that. Obviously, the women have World Cup qualifiers and then potentially a World Cup. But I haven't seen the full 20, I need to get the provisional 2025 itinerary because obviously, again, anything is subject to change. Right, listen, people, I'm going to wrap this show up. Thank you very much, as usual, for people who came through on the Monday. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you very much for watching this on the replay. Like, share. Jay says we've got Pakistan at home. Since when? In what format of cricket? Yeah, like, share, subscribe to the video. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We're closing in on 11K. You can find us on all the different social media handles: Instagram, X, TikTok, Discord, Blue Sky, Facebook. We're everywhere. You can find us everywhere, etc. So go and find us and subscribe and follow and all of those things. And like I say, tomorrow is the big one. We've got the Caribbean Cricket Podcast 2024 award show. We're hoping to do that live. We think we're going to start that at 7 o'clock UK time. So if you're planning to tune in and watch that one live, it would be 3 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time, 2 o'clock Jamaican time. So we're looking to do that one live. So look out for that. And then, yeah, we go from there. Dwight Henry says, will you be doing commentary? What, in cricket this year? Don't know yet. Might be doing some next year, sorry. Might be doing some BBC stuff. I don't know, you know. Do you know what? I'll say this is the last thing before I wrap up the show. The one thing that I don't do, and Santoki doesn't really do it either, we don't pitch anything to anyone. And maybe we need to change that. So we don't go to people and say, oh, hi, my name's Machel St. Patrick here. I run this. Have you ever thought about doing X, Y, Z? And we offer this. I've never done that. I've never, ever done that. So anything that you lot have ever seen me on or heard me do, it's because people have reached out. I have never offered to do anything, or I've never requested and said, have you thought about using Caribbean Cricket Podcast because we could do this or we could do. I've never done that. So that's why whenever people ask me about, will you be doing X, will you be doing Y? I don't know, because I've never made plans to do X or Y. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We move. So yeah, could do it on YouTube, obviously. Could just do it independently myself on YouTube. One-man show, Joey style. But I don't know. Anyways, people, I've got to go. It's late. Just gone past midnight. John P. Nichols says, I'm lobbying to bring Jason Holder back as captain. What, test captain? Don't think he'd really want to do that anymore, would he? But I don't know. Anyways, people, I'm out. Thank you as ever for coming through. Like and share and subscribe on your way out. And see you all tomorrow for the 2024 Caribbean Cricket Podcast Award Show. Peace, peace.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.